Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, A Magical Life with Aylah Hillel. And I'm Aylah. So as we get started on our discussion of magic from a energetic vibrational point of view, one of the things two lessons that I wrote and taught in magic school were what I felt was the pivotal lessons for magic school. Everything else after that kind of hinged on those three lessons. So the first one is what we call the divine self. The divine self is an understanding of magical energy and how it works through us. And it's kind of a scientific explanation and kind of a spiritual explanation. And I always try to come at things that way. It's like some of the science and some of the spirit. And then that way we don't feel like we're on this path with blind faith. We are proud of the fact that what we worship many times is tangible or was tangible at some time. So I always like to include a little bit of science and a little bit of magic. And so the three pivotal lessons for what I have to say about magic basically is energy. It's a lesson in energy, or what we call the divine self. And then there's this way, if you have the understanding that you are energy, everything's made out of energy, and what that energy actually is, then you really have an understanding about your magic and where your magic comes from and why basically we are magical beings. The other lesson is the divine, that was the divine self with the energy lesson, and then meditation. Meditation is, I like to call it an interface. So what I teach all levels of all different styles of meditation. And you are going to get some of that on this channel. You're going to get some of this different types of meditation. But the type of meditation that I really push is what we call silence. So silence is the absence of pictures and sounds in our mind. So basically what you're going to do, what I'm going to help you remember how to do, because I don't teach you anything. My job is to help you remember. So what I'm going to help you remember to do is how to go to that place that is absent of pictures and sound in your mind. That's what silence meditation is. It's learning how to, in the early days of my studies, I remember hearing it referred to as mind control. And when we hear that word mind control, we think, okay, the villain, wants to control everybody's mind. That's not what this is. This is a different type of mind control. This is you controlling your mind. And here's what comes out of meditation. This video basically is going to be about meditation, is going to be about silence meditation. We're going to do a lot of other different types of meditation, but this one's going to be about silence. And so what happens with silence, what happens a lot of times when we are exercising our magic, when we're casting a spell or we're putting out an intention, is that we get we get a little mixed up with the some negativity or some contradiction. A contradiction looks like this. So one of these days, I'm going to win the lottery. One of these days, I'm going to be wildly wealthy. But in the same breath, we think or we say, but I don't deserve it. There are people way more deserving than myself. So that's a contradiction. That's what we call a magical contradiction. And when we meditate, we go into a state of suspension. So whatever negativity we're dealing with, whatever contradictions we're dealing with, get suspended. Now, the difference in silence meditation and sleep, because our negativity gets suspended. You know how sometimes you'll have a fight with your spouse one night and you go to bed and you wake up the next morning and things don't look so bad. Actually, you start to feel a little better about it in the morning light over a cup of coffee. So the difference between sleep and meditation to suspend that negativity is that when we are meditating, we are doing it consciously. We are suspending that negativity consciously. So that's a very powerful thing. Another thing that happens during meditation is chemicals in the back of your brain, feel-good chemicals. During meditation, we produce certain chemicals that help us feel better physically, help us feel better emotionally, help us feel better spiritually. So meditation does a lot of stuff. Now, the big thing for me, okay, so you've got suspending the negativity and you've got the feel-good chemicals. But the big thing for me about silence is the very first time I sat down to practice silence, I was very, very sick. And I didn't know that meditation would help me or not. But I knew if it didn't hurt me, if it didn't help, it wasn't going to hurt. So I was willing to try it. And I had listened with a friend to a teacher who died in 1963. He was a meditation teacher. And when you hear me talk about my meditation teacher, that's what I'm talking about as this dead guy. But he's the one who taught me how to meditate. And I listened to the tapes with her. She had cassette tapes that we listened to this teacher. And we listened all day. And I was so sick. And I went home. And I walked home. I was mentally ill, so I had depression and I had post-traumatic stress disorder, and I had the multiple personality disorder. And on my way home, I started thinking about what this teacher had said about meditation and, what it actually represents as a spiritual practice. And I'm open-hearted and open-minded, so I didn't have a hard time understanding what he was saying. When I got home, nobody was home. None of my family was home, so I sat down in my rocking chair next to the window, and I sat there for a few minutes thinking about all of the information that I had heard that day. And one of the things that he had said was, when you sit down to meditate, meditation is listening, where prayer is talking. So you always listen first, and then you talk. So this was my moment sitting in my rocking chair on July 8th, 1998, looking out the window. I had depression, and for those of you who have ever struggled with depression, you don't see the sunlight real well. You don't see colors real well. Everything's kind of muted and dull. And I remember him saying, you always state your intention before you meditate. You say, I am here and I am listening. Now, he didn't really go through, in the cassette tapes that we were listening to, he didn't really go through like step 1 and step 2 and step 3. He talked enough that I kind of got the general gist of what he was trying to say. So, but I sat there for a few moments, and I realized at that moment I was kind of at a crossroads in my religious and spiritual practice, and I realized at that moment that, and I said it out loud to the universe, I know you according to the Christians, because I was a Christian for 20 years, and I know you according to the Jews, because I was a Jew for 15 years. But I don't really know you according to you. And I would really like to get to know you according to you. So we have these chemicals that happen in our brain, and we have these things that happen. I think the biggest thing that happens for me is, and this is how I illustrate it. So here's God, and here's me, okay? And when we meditate, we interface with each other, with God, with the universe, with the gods and goddesses, with the dude, with the one, whatever you want to call it. I will never correct you. What you want to refer to your divine relationship as, that is wonderful. But this is what was happening to me during meditation. I was interfacing with the divine. So I closed my eyes, and I didn't know what I was doing. I really didn't know what I was doing. And so I sat for a few minutes. I had already stated my intention. I am here. And to me, here is centered, grounded, and in my heart. So I am here. I am here, and I'm listening. Now, it made sense to me that if I invited a beloved friend to come and visit me, and I sat the entire time on the sofa and watched the television, that wasn't very respectful. And here I have this divine relationship that I want to cultivate, and I want to cultivate it in a new way besides the religions that I had been involved in. That was fine. I needed those religions at that time, but something in my spirit was calling me into something deeper. And so I decided that this whole thing about the pictures and the sounds had to go, because that was the equivalent of watching TV. I'm asking the divine into my space, and then I let my thoughts run amok. So I created a television. In my mind, I created a television. I closed my eyes, and I saw the back of my eyelids. And on the back of my eyelids, I placed this television. And the television had 2 knobs on it. One was the sound, and one was the pictures. So I very gently reached out, and I turned the sound knob completely down. And then I very gently reached out again, and I pushed the knob on the picture and made it disappear, made the whole thing disappear. And for those of you who practice silence, you're only in that space for several seconds at best. So this was, how long ago was this? This was, 20 years ago, 20-something years ago that I started practicing silence. And I can hold a space of silence for several seconds because our brains, the universe, the source energy that created us, created our brains to be moving all the time, problem solving. especially our ancestors that were running across the desert trying not to be eaten by a large animal. Their minds had to, where were they going to get food? How were they going to keep warm? Where was the closest water? So their minds had to be moving all the time. Our minds move all the time. We are problem solving all the time. So thinking is a very natural process. It really is. It's what we do. Stopping that thinking, however, brings us into a very interesting place. I believe it brings us here in an interface with the divine. But quantum physicists talk about a place called zero field. I've heard it called lots of stuff. This is the pure pool of positive potentiality. This is where God is. This is where all the gods and goddesses are. This is where angels, dragons, fairies, and guides are at, and every entity and being that exists in the multiverse lives in this pool of possibility. You are there, and all of the divine is there, and every desire of your heart is there. Everything you could ever want or ever need or ever thought about having is in that 0 point pool, that pure pool of possibility and potential. When you come into silence, you come into that 0 point, that pool of potentiality, where all negativity is suspended, where all distance and dissidence is suspended, where everything that keeps us from our magic is suspended. Okay? So this is a very, very powerful place. Now that's one thing. Another thing is that by taking your mind into this place of no sound and no pictures, and very gently and lovingly holding your mind there, you are creating focus. And you know what focus is good for? Focus is good for making magic. What do you get if you can't focus? What do you get if you can't focus? You get nothing, right? You have to be able to focus. You have to be able to decide what it is that you want to accomplish with your magic. Do you want to heal your body? Do you want to create money? Do you want to create love? We can use our magic to create love. We're careful about it, but we can do that. Healing, love, and money are the 3 things in this life that we need to make a life. Think about anything in your life. Think about any subject, topic, anything you want to think about. It will fit into one of those 3 categories. So if you have a regular meditation practice, if you can sit down, you're going to create good chemicals, you're going to interface with the divine, you're going to jump yourself into that pool where everything exists. So if I could say that there was one spiritual practice for a magical person, I would say it would be to practice meditation, to practice silence. Now, silence comes in other forms. There's the act of keeping silence. Many of us know what that's about. We'll get to that later. This talk on silence is strictly meditation. So I'm going to attempt to lead you in a silence meditation. Now, this is tricky because you're supposed to be thinking about nothing and you're going to hear my voice. So that's kind of funny. But if I can take you there, then you will understand what it is I'm trying to say. And for those of you who are seasoned meditators, you can hang out here with us. You can relax and listen to my voice, and it's not going to hurt you. So, but those of you who are beginning, this is one of those practices you really want to pick up. If you are, we didn't even let our students at magic school, we didn't even teach them any acts of magic until they had been meditating for 9 months, a year. We would teach it to them in September of their first year, and then they would start acts of magic in September of the next year. So meditation was their magical conditioning. So this is really, really important on a lot of different levels. So I'm going to take you there. So now let me talk a little bit really quick about your posture. So you see these pictures of the fellow sitting in a lotus position on a cushion on the floor, and he's got his little mudra. And let me just tell you that that's a cultural thing. And if you live in America, probably, I know a lot of people who study yoga may meditate that way. I'm going to tell you that you need to, without lying down, you need to sit in a comfy chair. And what I recommend is a chair that's not too comfy, okay? Because meditation feels so good that the temptation to fall asleep is very big. So I used to tell people, oh, find a wooden library chair. That's so uncomfortable. Just something that's comfortable, that you can relax and sit up. Don't lie down. Don't start meditating lying down until you've been doing it for a long time, because I promise you will want to fall asleep. So sit comfortably, feet on the floor in front of you, hands on your lap or in elbows resting on the armchair. That's fine too. But sit up straight. Okay, so you have a flow of energy that starts at the base of your spine and goes clear to the top of your head. And you don't want to do anything to impede that flow of energy. Okay, so sit comfortably. Make sure your phone is turned off. Make sure the temperature is set correctly for you. Make sure your family knows that you need a couple of minutes to do a meditation, and you can have some peace and some quiet for a moment. So we're going to do the relaxation technique. We're going to get into a theta state. Take a deep breath. And as you exhale, let everything go. Just for the moment. We're not letting it go forever. Just for a moment. Take another deep breath. And as you exhale, give yourself permission to be present in your meditation and not have to think about anything else. Take another deep breath and let it out. Now we're going to start with the light at our feet. You can see the light in any color. I suggest a white light, a warm, soothing, healing white light into your toes, your feet, and your ankles. Completely relax these areas. Into your calves and your knees and your thighs. Relaxing, warm and soothing. Feel the muscles completely relax. Feels so good. Up into your hips, lower spine, lower torso. see the light in these areas and let those muscles completely relax. Warm and soothing. Just let the muscles relax up into your stomach and your middle back. Any stress that you're carrying, just let that go. Let the muscles relax. Completely relax. Take the light up into your chest and your shoulders. Any stress in this area, let the light just dissolve it away. Down your arms, hands, and fingers. Let the light just glow in these areas, warming and soothing, and just feel the muscles completely relax. Completely relax. Into your neck and your throat. Allow the light to glow bright in your neck and your throat. Feels so good. And let those muscles completely relax. Just feel them melt. They feel so good now. Take the light up into your face. Let those face muscles completely relax. Feels so good. Just let those face muscles relax. Take the light up into the top of your head and the back of your head. See all of those muscles up there, untwisting, relaxing, letting go of all the stress and worry. Bring the light into your pineal gland in the center of your brain, a little gland that looks like a pine cone. Now you're going to take a moment to just feel your relaxed body and how good it feels, how stress-free it feels. It's warm and soothed. Now find the back of your eyelids. And very gently reach out. Turn your volume knob down. Turn the screen off. Or you can very gently reach out with your hand and just push any pictures or thoughts or sound aside. Stay in that place of no pictures and no sounds as long as you can. When you see another picture, very lovingly and gently reach out in your mind's eye and gently push it out of the way and resume looking at your space. When you hear a sound, allow that sound to completely dissolve. When you see that picture again, just reach out very lovingly and very gently and allow it to dissolve or brush it out of the way. Try to hold the absent places as long as you can. Get into that pool of potentiality. Gently dissolve any sound or pictures, or push the button on the television and turn it off. Okay. So now you have a little example of what it's like to do silence meditation. We're going to come back now. We're going to re-enter the third dimension. Bring the light out of the back of your head. Over the top, leaving all of those muscles relaxed and soothed. Down the front, down the front of your face, your throat, your neck, and your shoulders. Feeling so good, feeling so relaxed and so soothed. Down your arms and hands and fingers. So relaxed and starting to wake up now. Into your chest and stomach area, front and back. Starting to wake up now. Down into your lower back, lower torso, hips, waking up gently, waking up gently, waking up gently, down into your thighs and your knees. These areas feel so good. They're waking up gently. Down into your calves and your ankles and your feet. And allow the light to go out the bottom of your feet, through the floor, into the ground below, where it will be taken by the mother and recycled. Take a deep breath. Wiggle your fingers and toes. And when you are ready, open your eyes. How'd you do? So you're probably left with a feeling of being relaxed. You're probably a little more able at this moment to process some of your stress. And if you keep practicing meditation, what I found for myself is that I became perpetually in that place of relaxation. I was perpetually in that place of calm. Calm is very powerful when things happen to you, because sometimes in life things come out of nowhere and you have to deal with it. And the calmer you are when you deal with it, the more you're able to think. I know that sounds funny, but it's the truth. So meditation is your first and foremost spiritual practice as a magical being. We're going to do this next year, we're going to do all manners of meditations. One of the things that we're going to do is something called a path working. A path working is where we get into a theta state, and the mystics describe it as your spirit leaves your body and you go on a journey. I love path workings, and I love to lead path workings. We're going to do a lot of path working. We're going to do a lot of different types of methods of meditation. So if silence is a real problem for you, I mean, there have been students that have come back and they're just like, I just can't do it. I can't do it. There's other methods, because what we really want to do with meditation is another name for those thoughts and those pictures that are going on all the time. Another name for that is monkey mind. And we want to stop the chatter of the monkey inside of our minds so that the divine can hold that space with us. There's lots of different ways to stop that chatter. Silence is not the only way. I happen to feel that silence is the most powerful because I was healed that day on July 8th, 1998. When I came out of that meditation, everything that had been plaguing me as far as mental illness was gone. I could see the sunlight, I could see the colors, I could see the wind pushing the trees around and the grass around. I could see the mountains that faced my house on the other side of the valley. And I had joy. I was no longer afraid. And I was ready to play a very serious game of catch up with my life. So I didn't realize at that moment how magical I was. That came later for me. But meditation can heal us, can heal our bodies, heal our minds, can help us interface with the divine, can help us have the chemicals that we need inside of our bodies to stay calm in situations when we need to stay calm. And just the practice of meditation alone will help you have that calmness in the face of issues and problems in your life. You have to stay calm. You have to be able to think when things arise in your life. So this is the end of this video. It's a rather long video. I have a lot to say about meditation, even more than this. And I hope that this is helpful for you. Our next video is going to be on the divine self. And energy, the divine self, and meditation are the three pivotal ideas. I don't want to say lessons because that sounds like I'm teaching you, and I'm not teaching you. I'm helping you remember. I'm helping you remember what you already know because you are an infinite being. Those are the three pivotal lessons, and everything I have to say after that hinges on those three lessons. So I really look forward to making another video and to knowing that I'm helping some of you out there to remember. Have an awesome week, and we'll see you again soon. Blessed be.